Welcome to Magic Arcanum. I'm Ryan Gomez. Behind the scenes is Nicole Burdick, and we're so glad you're here because it's story time! In honor of Mother's Day, I thought it would be fun to take a closer look at one of the moms of Magic and see how her latest card interacts with one of the newest mechanics from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. I am talking, of course, about Pia Nalaar, mother to the iconic planeswalker Chandra and hero to Kaladesh. Presently, Pia is helping her home plane of Kaladesh rebuild itself in the aftermath of the Phyrexian invasion. But before that, she led a revolution there, helping the common people stand up to the oppressive consulate, who had a stranglehold on the plane's natural supply of aether, a valuable energy source. And before that, she raised her daughter, Chandra, who you probably recognize as one of the game's most famous planeswalkers. Chandra and her mother have a great relationship. Now, anyway. As a kid, Chandra had some trouble controlling her pyromancer powers, and the consulate came after her. Her spark ignited during a confrontation with an enforcer named Baral, and her father was killed, and her mom, Pia, became an underground revolutionary figure. Mother and daughter were reunited years later during the events of Aether Revolt, and I've got them teaming up in this fun new standard deck as well. It all starts right here with Pia Nalaar, Consul of Revival. She is a 2-mana 2/3 that says whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, create a 1/1 colorless thopter artifact creature token with flying, and oh yeah, thopters you control have haste. So how do we get castable cards into exile? Well, how about with the plot mechanic from Outlaws of Thunder Junction? Irascible Wolverine works really great here. If we plot him, he goes to exile, and then when we play him with Pia out, he'll create a hasty 1/1 thopter and exile another card, which we'll hopefully be able to play as well. We can quickly make an Air Force of 1/1s. But we've got some other great supporting cards here too. Chandra, Dressed to Kill. I mean, it wouldn't be a Mother's Day deck without mother-daughter combo, so here she is. Her second +1 ability also exiles the top card of our library and lets us play it if it's red, so it won't work with lands or the handful of white spells I'm sprinkling in here, but most of the time it works great with Pia. You can also just use her other +1 to make mana and start dealing damage to your opponent. We've also got one other trick up our sleeve with Krenko's Buzz Crusher because it is a thopter, and so Pia gives it haste, which means it can deal a surprisingly big chunk of damage out of nowhere while also knocking out Cavern of Souls or any of the numerous utility lands our opponents love to play. The rest of the deck can be anything. I'm trying out some burn spells and some other ways to put things into exile to trigger off Pia, but it leaves me with the question, can we turn up the heat this Mother's Day? Because, man, I love friendly games of Magic. Anyway, you want to know the best way to track your collection? It's with TCG Home, the sponsor of this video. They just launched their iOS app, but still have full browser support, which makes it super easy to input your cards, monitor their value, even look up rules text. Plus, you can apply custom tags, which are a great way to find inspiration for new decks, like the one I'm going to show you. But first, check out my link for TCG Home down below. Signing up is totally free, and it is a great way to understand the story your collection is trying to tell you. So try it out today. All right, now let's grab some nice flowers because we're about to pay a visit to Chandra's mom and see if we can't win her heart and win some games. Here we go. Okay, here we go with the Mother's Day special. We've got Pia. We've got some plottable cards. We've got all of our mana colors. I think this is pretty good. Let's see if we can make this work. All right, looks like our opponent mulliganed, and we get to go first. So I think we're going to start off with one of our tapped lands here, the Abraded Bluffs. That'll set us up with both of our colors and get the damage rolling. We're kind of an aggressive deck. We want to play a bunch of little thopters, swarm in, and kill our opponent before they can do the same to us. All right, so they've got Tiny Bones. Not too worried about a 1/1 with Death Touch, really. And I think the first thing we're going to do is actually plot our Sheriff of Safe Passage. So this is a Thunder Junction card that costs 1 and a white to plot, and then we can play it for free later. I like to do this on turn 2, and then on turn 3, we can play our Pia, and then immediately play the Sheriff. And so he's coming off of exile, so that's going to make a Thopter, and then he's going to come in with 3 counters because he sees 3 creatures. So we get a 2-mana 3/3 with a 1/1 flyer with haste for 2 mana? Like, that seems pretty good. I don't know if it's going to be good enough when we start getting our cards stolen, but most of our stuff kind of synergizes with itself, so I don't know how good this Jasper's going to really be, but we'll find out. Alright. So turn 4, we could just drop a Stingback Terror. It'd be pretty big. We could try to prepare some plotted Wolverines. Kind of like that. We'll get in with our Thopter. And I guess we'll use our 3/3 to hold off Jasper. So they took Ren's Resolve and a Scorching Shot. So that's like one of the better things they could have got, because now they can kill anything on our board. But if they don't kill Pia, we get to like keep cranking out more Thopters. So they go for the 3/3, which I'm okay with. And we're probably going to take a ton of damage here because I'm not blocking with Pia. Alright, and then they kill a Thopter. And we're taking 7. Alright, not great, but I don't think we're in true trouble yet, because now we get a free Wolverine, which is going to make a Thopter, and exile another card. And it's Krenko's Buzz Crusher, which is perfect, because this guy has haste and makes another Thopter, and we get to strip away some of these extra lands. So we're going to destroy Plaza of Heroes, I guess. And we'll go pick up, I guess, a Plains here, just in case we need white mana again. And we still get to play our land for the turn. And now, so they got Tiny Bones down there, but we can get in for 6 up top. I guess Jasper lets them steal a couple more cards off of us. They get our Chandra, one of our Wolverines, and another Scorching Shot. So, fortunately, I think that means the Buzz Crusher is going down, but, I mean, it did its job, right? Alright, 12-11. This game's still pretty close. Their board is getting bigger. I mean, this is going to grow out of burn range for us, and if it gets lifelink, we're in real trouble. But overall, this is, like, progressing how I want it to go. I don't know. Alright, Mountain is not really what I wanted there. So we have 6. We could double plot. I guess that's what we're going to have to do here, right? We could also just play a Wolverine and see what comes up off the top. Yeah, I guess we'll do that. Another land. Alright, so I should not have played the land before doing it. I did not sequence this really well. That's one of the downfalls of playing this type of deck. You know, if you don't get a lot of reps in. So now, where do we send our Thopters? On Chandra? Or just keep dinging our opponent? I guess we're in a race here, right? We want to keep the pressure on their life total. Oh man, if this gets one more counter though, we need to draw one of our, was it Stinging Shot? Scorching Shot, excuse me. Alright, they're going to play one of our own Wolverines against us. Very rude, very rude. They hit a mountain. They come in with Tiny Bones. Interesting. So if that deals damage to us, they'll get to play a permanent. They probably want our Buzz Crusher. So as much as I hate to give up a whole Wolverine, I mean, if they want to cash in Plaza here to keep Tiny Bones alive, that's actually fine. Alright, we have a backup Pia. I think we Stingback And then Sheriff, so this thing will be huge. And then 3 thopters to the face. Get them to 6. All right. So unfortunately, this has Menace and Lifelink now, so maybe we're not in as great of a shape as I'd hoped. And they picked up a couple of our Dust Animus. I had like 2 copies of this. I put it in the deck because it's, again, a cheap plottable card that works well with Pia. And they picked up our 1 copy of Chandra's Hope's Beacon. Which I guess they're going to get to play because they're going to use Little... Oh no, they're going with the Animus. Alright. And that's not how I would have done that, but... I guess it does give them a couple of blocking flyers. Which they need. Although all they really have to do is attack with Vadmir. Yeah. Man, 6 life. Alright, well, we definitely need to kill that guy. And he's got Menace, so if we block like that. And then are we okay taking 1 from Tiny Bones? What are they hoping to get? They can only do permanents, and they only have 2 mana left, so I don't think we block Tiny Bones here. Alright, opponent's back up to 12. And we hit a land, which isn't ideal either, but we can at least keep our sting back a 6/6. I could make it a 7/7 by playing another Pia. That doesn't really help us either. I think we just swing out here. They're saying good game. Is that lethal? Math is for blockers. I don't know. We're playing red today. I'm not going to do the math. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're at GG's quite yet here. They hit 2 lands off the top. Okay. Oh, and a Chandra. All right. So let's see if they use this for 1 damage. I mean, we're not dead on board unless they kill our Pia. As long as we can block with her, we're still alive.
You're lucky this is a warning shot.
Yeah, another Chandra doesn't do it.
Don't think a fancy dress means I didn't come here to fight. Let's bring things up to a simmer.
Okay. Tiny Bones joins up. Karvak also doesn't do it. I mean, yeah, you can play your Vadmir. All right, we're at 5. We block Jasper. We take 4. We go to 1. And they can play a permanent spell, but they can't like use our own burn spells against us. So what are they hoping to do here? No, it was a crime in Karvak. Oh no, we were so close. Oh my god, we were. Oh, come on. No. All right, let's try it again. Man, I'm still reeling from that other game. Okay, so this time we've got just a single mountain. I don't think we can keep. That is considerably better. And we're going to keep this and toss back our singleton 6-drop Big Girl Chandra. All right. Opening move is Abraded Bluffs. Send a little message to our opponent. I think turn 2 is going to be... Oh. We're getting hit with a nightmare. All right, so I got a couple ossifications in here because red can't deal with everything. But I think we're going to plot our sheriff so that we can play Pia and the sheriff next turn and get a little army going. Opponent has Tenacious Underdog, and now I wish I had kept that ossification. It's fine, totally fine. So Pia into Sheriff, Thopter, make 3/3, play land, attack for 1. Alright, so mulliganing, not great. Being down to just a land and a 5 damage to a creature, also not great. Although this Lily,
No more distractions. Let's make this
I
quick.
like having the Thopter for sacrifice insurance. And if they make us discard a land, that's actually not terrible
You
either.
won't be outsmarting me.
Oh, okay. And then I guess we just take 3 here. Pick up Chandra dressed to kill. Alright, cool. So what do we do with her? Do we exile the top card? We won't be able to play it. We can just deal 1 damage, I guess.
Give a toast.
And we'll
I'd
knock
love
out
to.
Lily and deal some damage to the opponent.
Fine. I know when I'm not wanted.
Alright, so opponent seems to be on like mono black, discard, wreck your stuff, little sticky threat here that's going to keep coming back out of the graveyard unless we can exile it. Alright. 3 to Chandra, that's okay. We pick up a land. We're going to tick up Chandra and exile and hopefully not hit another land. It's another land.
Who needs a plan?
Okay.
Just improvise.
Well, I guess we just swing. And now Scorching Shot's a sorcery, so if we want to use it on like Tenacious Underdog, it kind of has to be now. Fortunately, they could still kill our Planeswalker either by blitzing this guy or Evolved Sleeper upgrades. But like they only have 1 thing on board, so like this feels pretty good, and we have a lot of live cards that we can draw here. I just don't want to hit more lands at this point. All right, so they do upgrade. Are they going to kill Chandra and take 6 from us, or leave this guy on defense? I mean, neither of these is great. All right, so they are going after our Planeswalker.
Aw, party's over.
And they got Phyrexian Arena doing half of our job for us, so that's cool. Ossification. Kind of want to keep that to deal with Underdog, although maybe we just take care of this sleeper now. Yeah, because now they can't blitz back the Underdog. They're down to 1. Oh, man. What's the Black March card that can gain a bunch of life? I don't know. Alright, even if they wipe our board, they're dead to their own Phyrexian Arena. Graveyard Trespasser. They can exile a card from a graveyard. If it's a creature, they gain back a life. Okay, but they're still dead to this Thopter and their arena. Even if we hit a mountain, I'm actually fine with that. Good game! That's a W for Chandra and her mother. We count those. That was great. And we're playing ranked too, so like I'm putting it on the line for you this Mother's Day. Let's see if we can get another victory here. Here we go. All right, that first game was super close. Second game we won, I don't want to say pretty easily, but even on a mulligan to 6, we still won. So let's do one more. We got both our colors. We got backup Pia. We've got a way to exile some cards. We got a big hasty Thopter. I like it. It's a little risky on 2 lands, but we'll see if we can make it work. We'll open with our mountain here. And so now we get to decide, do we do the turn 2 plotting of the Sheriff that has worked so well for us? I think we do. I mean, we're against some sort of Jund deck? I don't. What is this going to be like the domain thing? No, these don't have land types, so these are just it's just classic Junding them out. Okay, let's see what you got, opponent. Oh, dinosaur. Oh no. Okay. So we don't really have a way to kill that yet. So I think we play Pia. Play our sheriff. And I think we're going to actually keep this thopter to chump block a 6/6. Opponent hitting all of their lands. So I think next turn maybe we Buzz Crusher and take him off black, I guess. And, okay, yeah, we will totally chump block that if it's going to stay stunned for a turn. Or do we Ren's Resolve? No, I think I want to get them off of a color. I mean, I guess I could just go fetch a basic swamp if they've got one, but... But if not, they might be in trouble. They have no basics. We just stone rained our opponent. Happy Mother's Day to you. All right, another dinosaur. Do we just... I think we just ossification this guy. And then hit hard. Oh, and look at that. They're in range of a lightning strike. That's another victory for Pia Nalaar and Team Kaladesh. I really like this deck. I don't want to overstay my welcome because it's a holiday weekend. You know, I gotta go visit my own mom. But let's put the deck list up and kind of share some final thoughts here after a somewhat impressive 2-1. Really, almost 3-0. Really. Let's take a look at the deck. Okay, so here's the whole list as I just ran it, but again, a lot of flex spots in here that you can do whatever you want with. I had 2 copies of Dust Animus already in my collection, mostly because it's cheap to plot, so that puts something in exile that we can then play for free. If we get it with, 5 untapped lands and it becomes a giant lifelinker that flies, awesome. If not, it still probably drops a Thopter and adds to our Air Force with Pia, so I'm happy to have 2 of these. Maybe could do more, maybe could do less. It really just kind of depends. Ossification is like a staple removal card right now. It answers creature and planeswalkers of any size. Red with its burn kind of gets stuck when stuff has 5 or more toughness or 6 or more. So this is just a nice extra way to answer some of those bigger problems. But we do have stuff like Lightning Strike, which we can point at the face or pick off, blockers or other small threats if we need to. I'm trying out a couple of Volcanic Spites in here, so this is again 3 damage as an instant, but it lets us put a card from our hand on the bottom of our library if we do draw a card. That has no synergy with Pia or anything, but sometimes it's good to just pitch an extra land and try to find more action, and just having another way to deal 3 damage to something and get it off the table can help us keep our planeswalkers alive or stuff like that. Ren's Resolve, you get to exile 2 cards, and until your end of your next turn, you can play them. I mean, that works great with Pia. I didn't want too many of these in here, though, because once you start holding more than 1 in your hand, they kind of get awkward, and they don't really advance your board state necessarily. But having 2 feels like a good number for now. 2 copies of Scorching Shot, kind of Red's best removal option right now. We get to do up to 5 damage to a creature. And it's only a sorcery, so it's not super flexible, but when you do want to kill something, I mean, this works, and you can get the extra mana off of Chandra or something if you need the double red, so it fills a need. Maybe this should just be 2 more ossifications, but I was trying to keep it as much red as possible so that we can use Chandra's +1 here. But really, the star of the deck is Pia, as our 2-mana 2/3 that's going to hopefully just keep making Thopters that we can throw at our opponent's face. And one great way to do that is by plotting a Sheriff of Safe Passage on turn 2. Then he comes in with Pia, and she'll see that cast from exile, make a Thopter. Then the Sheriff arrives, and he'll see 2 other creatures already in play. So you get a 2-mana 3/3, and he just gets bigger and bigger the more Thopters you've already got. So he can be really, really good. We did not see this lizard show up. I just have 1 in here just to kind of try it out. And so when it attacks while saddled, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you can play it. And saddling just costs 1. So any of our Thopters can saddle this guy up. We get to attack for 4. We get to exile another card, which we can then play with Pia. And it just kind of fits with what the deck wants to do. But I didn't, I don't love it enough that I wanted like a full playset in here or anything. It just would be nice to draw once in a while, but try it out yourself. Let me know what you think. Definitely want 4 of the Wolverines though. I mean, this can exile itself with plot and then exile another card when we play it, so we get potentially 2 bites at the apple. That's 2 thopters with Pia. And just more stuff to do. So I'm pretty happy with this. 3 mana for a 3/2. Fail case isn't terrible either. I mean, it's aggressive. It does damage. Chandra, Dress to Kill. Probably don't need 4 copies of her. It's mostly just because it's Mother's Day and I wanted mother and daughter in here together. Probably would go down to just 3 of her because multiples don't work super duper great. We're almost never going to hit her ultimate at -7. Hopefully the game is over by then. But her ability to exile stuff, sets up Pia really well. We can squeeze out a little extra mana or some extra damage if we're trying to double spell or something. So works pretty well with what the deck's trying to do. But again, holding multiples is a little awkward. I really did like Krenko's Buzz Crusher. I think this came in clutch for us more than once. And it's like a 20-cent rare right now. So maybe this is one to scoop up. I mean, it's a little awkward playing on Arena because all the rares use your rare wild cards, and I know those can be hard to come by. But a hasty 4/4 with flying and trample that also potentially eats a land or throws off your opponent's colors or denies them a creature land that they can no longer animate, or takes away Plaza of Heroes or Cavern of Souls, or there are so many non-basics right now that this thing just munches on. So I'm pretty much always happy to have one of these. 2 feels like the right number, but maybe you could go up to 3. Probably don't want a full 4. We're trying to keep the curve as low as possible. The Stingback Terrors also is our late game bomb. It just hits really hard once our hand is empty, and we can plot it, so it also works well with Pia, and it just does a lot of what we want to see. And then I just had a spicy one of Chandra, Hope's Beacon up here at the top end. Probably could cut this, but I wanted one more reference to the mother-daughter kind of combo. And this one also has a plus ability that will exile cards and then let us play instants and sorceries from among them. But that's why we've got Lightning Strikes, Volcanic Spites, Ren's Resolve, some options in there. So this works, but you could certainly save yourself, however many dollars this one is, and save the wild card and run something else in that spot, or put in a 3rd Ren's Resolve or whatever you want to do. Lands I tried to keep pretty basic, just a couple of deserts here to get the ball rolling and put on some extra damage. Battlefield Forge just to make sure that we've always got that white so we can drop Pia on curve. And you can do whatever you want here as well. If you've got Sokazon and some other rare lands like that fit the colors and you want more utility, if you want to run the creature lands that can come to life, I mean, they come in tapped, and I think tempo is an important part of this deck. You don't really want to be taking too many turns off for tapped lands. I mean, that's why I only have 2 of the deserts in here. They're okay on turn 1 because we don't have any turn 1 plays, but anything past turn 2, and I'm not really excited to be drawing or playing one of these. That's what I have for you for Mother's Day. A little Pia Chandra burn them down and crush them under thopters for a pretty budget-friendly deck. Again, you could tinker with any number of cards in here, but 4 of Pia for sure, 4 Wolverines for sure, probably 2 or 3 of this Chandra. I like the Buzz Crusher, and the Stingerback Terror. But those are just, cards that I had gotten opening boosters for Thunder Junction. Your collection might be different. You might want to invest in this, you might not. I thought it was a fun, thematic Mother's Day deck sponsored by TCG Home, so check them out using my link down below. And then leave me a comment. What do you think? Is this deck worth continuing to iterate on, or was it just a fun holiday fluke that we're going to put back on the shelf and continue to explore the stories behind the cards here? You gotta just tell me what you think down there in the comments. Then make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the great stories you'll only find here on Magic Arcanum. We'll see ya.